What's up to everybody out there? Welcome back to another edition of the Roundtable Talk. I am your host, C Money. Oh, and this is another edition. Right now, this is a special Roundtable Talk episode. This is not really special. Remember a week ago I did a visit to Key Biscayne, and I did a two-part series where I went to Real Badge Cake Florida State Park and Virginia Key Beach Park. I did it on a weekday. We are currently now at Virginia Key Beach on a weekend. This is a Saturday to be exact. Because I did some research on Virginia Key Beach, and on the weekends between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. there are carousel rides and train rides, which is free to the public. So I wanted to check it out for myself. I visit their website. Their website doesn't have much information. They have a lot of pictures and videos from past and present. There is a Virginia Key Beach board, a board where, they have people on board to help keep and preserve. This is a sand castle is one of the largest out there. And I guess they preserved it because it really doesn't really look like sand. But this is going to be a short video. It's not going to be a long video because we already did a video with on Virginia Key Beach. I just wanted to make sure to see if the actual website is true on the carousel rides and the train rides. And if there is, I don't too much care about the carousel rides because carousel rides is mostly for the kids, but I'm more interested in the train ride, so we're gonna try to check it out. By the way, if you haven't looked at the previous videos of Virginia Key Beach, check it out. Also, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe to our channel as well. There's the the bathhouse, I'm sorry. There's the concession stand, the back part of the concession stand. Oh, and I also looked up the houses, which are the cabins. You can rent them for $65 a night, meaning from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can rent the cabins out, for a low price of $65 a night. There's the dance floor, which is being rented out. I guess they're having an event there as well. We're gonna walk in. Basically, we're walking to see if the theory is true. Between 12 and 5, you can actually get on the merry-go-round and the trolley. If not, then I guess they need to update their website because they're supposed to be where it says on their website, because they preserved and restored. Because remember, this park was the only African American park available to African colored only, and they closed the park in, I believe, the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, I believe, and then they opened the park back up in the early 2000s to make way for the for the park. And then they also preserved the carousel and the train ride. So I'm gonna check it out. Basically, okay, as I can see here, this is the carousel. Apparently the carousel is closed, so that means that there is no carousel rides, because apparently it's supposed to be between 12 and 5, and it is the middle of thing. So apparently there is no carousel ride. So that's a strike one. Now we're gonna go to strike two, or we're gonna go to number 2, which is supposed to be the train rides. If there is no train rides, then there was no purpose of coming out here, because apparently it says on their website from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the weekends there are train rides. If you go to the website, you'll see a lot of information on the website on what is like I was saying, the cabins are for rental. They're $65 a night. $65 a day. They're only accessible 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That looks like a balloon. Basically, I'm gonna walk through There's the train tracks, apparently. There is apparently there isn't no train rides because this is the train station, and basically I don't see a train and I don't see it riding around. So basically, I believe there is no train ride. So unless somebody requested, I believe that's the whole purpose of the train ride. Like somebody has to request the train ride for the train ride to operate, because apparently from what I see, there is no train ride. So okay, so now we gotta go back to what we were saying, because remember I visited this park on a weekday, when it's much convenient, and I decided to say, okay, let me try this park on a weekend, because from what the website tells me, you visit the park on the weekend, then you get the train rides on the weekend. So apparently I looked it up, because the website doesn't tell you much about the park, and then it doesn't tell you much about the park on, they have like videos and stuff where you can see it. I tried to look up videos of the train rides, but there apparently isn't any videos of the train ride. So by you trying to find videos of the train ride, you won't find videos of the train ride, trust me. Unless there's videos, there's a picture of the train ride. But like I've even tried on YouTube, they have videos. If you look up the Virginia Key Beach Park train ride or whatever, there is no train ride, but they have videos that take you to the park, and maybe throughout those videos you'll see a train ride. But for me, I'm not looking through all the videos to try to find a train ride, so I'm just like bunking. This is a part of the park we didn't go to, because this is near the pond that they discussed. And with me, I don't too much like to go do certain parts of a park due to where the animals and the critters and stuff like that, and the grass and everything. I don't like to go far out. The tracks come over here. There's a track over there and there's a track here. The track over there is where the station is in, and over here, I guess this is where the track ends. So the track ends over here. So this must be a dead end for the track. This is no public access over here. I wasn't planning on going that way anyway, because that looks so not cute at all. This is, I guess, the back end of the garage area where the trains are held. Let me go this way and see if there's an exit out of this way. Pretty much what I was told was false advertisement, because apparently they're supposed to be where there's trains, like the train's supposed to have, you're supposed to have access to the train like on the weekends. It says from 12 to 5 p.m. If you go to the actual website for Virginia Key Beach, it tells you from 12 to 5 p.m. The trains, they get free train rides. So I guess that's when it opened back up in the early 2000s. So now there is no train ride, so I guess there is no access to the trains. That's one of the reasons why I came, because I wanted to see if I can experience the train ride for myself, and also see the carousel, because apparently if you look on their website, the Virginia Key Beach Park website, you can see that there is a picture of a train, and it has a yellow tarp that sits over the station, and they have few, like not many passengers, but a few passengers on the train. But I guess upon request is when they open up the train. Basically, let me walk this way towards the train station and come around, because I don't really want to walk farther out. But yeah, basically this is what was told, that there was supposed to be train rides on the weekends. I mean, and I'm quite sure the train rides would have been accessible, because as you can see, there's plenty of birthday parties and parties going on right now here in this park. So it would have been nice for them to have train rides for the birthday kids. But apparently that's not the case. Let's go back here. As you can see, we're the ticket booth, as apparently, and there is the little sign, and that's where the train turns off at to go on the other side where we just came from, where there is no, the tracks end, and I believe that's the garage where the train is housed at. So now we're gonna go back over here. I'm gonna go sit down for a second, and we're gonna have a little quick talking, and it might be where I'm gonna end this episode, because basically this was supposed to be an episode where I was supposed to show the trains operating and the carousel operating, but apparently that's not the case. And I believe that the trains and the carousel probably operate when somebody requests it. I mean, no doubt I'm gonna stick around for a little bit more and go through the areas I didn't go through in the last episode of the Roundtable Talk, because remember, I didn't go through, a lot of the. It's kind of cool out here, even though the sun is out. It's kind of cool. Remember the last time I didn't go through the trails and nature trails and stuff like that of this. Just like when I did Bill Bags, I didn't go through the nature trails and stuff of the nature trails of the park and stuff. So I actually just had where, I just went through the main areas of Bill Bags, and the same thing with here at Virginia Key Beach Park. Went through the main areas of the park, and I was basically here. I was supposed to be capturing the areas of where the trains and because let me give you a background of Virginia Key Beach. If you didn't catch the last episode or the episode, this is basically the only colored park back in the early and mid 1900s for African Americans in the South Florida area. And in the beginning of the early stages of this park being open, it was only accessible by boat. Remember what I told you, Key Biscayne was only accessible by boat because there was no bridge or causeway that is accessible by, and this is the north end of Key Biscayne, right across the street from Virginia Key Beach, because Virginia Key Beach, well, basically is on one side, and across the roadway of Key Biscayne there lies the Miami Aquarium, which will probably be another episode I'm doing. This is the end of the first part of Key Biscayne, because there are two bridges into Key Biscayne. The first bridge is the Ricker Banker Causeway, which is the first bridge. Soon as you turn into Key Biscayne, you go into a little bit of the water beach area where a lot of people, park their cars and they go fishing or they go get in the water. It's like a little beach area. If you've ever been like to Miami Beach and you go on the causeway to get to the beach and you see the little duck off areas where the cars park at and they go into the water and stuff, it's the same thing with here. Then once you get to Virginia Key Beach and Miami Aquarium, there's another bridge right after you pass Virginia Key Beach and Wicker and Miami Aquarium. You can see it actually if you checked out the episode last week. You can see the bridge from Virginia Key Beach, which I'll probably show in a little bit, where it goes to the second half of Key Biscayne. Now in the second half of Key Biscayne, that's where you go further down and it takes you about maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes or so to get to Bill Bags, and that's where also Crandon Park is at as well. I'm gonna walk a little bit more into the park. As you can see, this is a Saturday, so a lot of parties and a lot of events. As I walked through, I saw there was an actual bounce house, so there's a lot of parties going on here. I'm not going to be out here long. I just wanted to come and actually make sure or see if they actually had the carousel and the train rides available, which I see not. So apparently their website, I don't believe it's like falsely accusing, but their website is not accurate to where you could actually, their website is not actually, accurate, I should say, because you don't have a lot of amenities here. I believe, since you do have You know, on the weekends is when there's more popular at the park. There should have been where you can have access to the train rides and the carousels and stuff, because it should be accessible to a lot of people. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of walking on the other side of the park and see where it's what. That's the boathouse. I mean the bathhouse, I should say. And you know you can actually rent out the concession stand too. You know, I was looking at the website, like you could rent. Of course, you can rent the dance area. You can also rent the concession stand and stuff like that. You can rent all of that out. You see, there's a bunch of people out there that's, having parties, and this is, people coming out here having little private parties and birthday parties, and they coming out here just to relax and enjoy themselves. But yeah, you can rent. Like I said, you can rent the cabins too. The cabins are $65. They're from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I wouldn't expect you to sleep in them cabins because they don't have electrical wiring. They have cabins. The cabins have their own grill, so you can grill out there and stuff. But I wouldn't recommend sleeping in those cabins because those cabins are like your housing area. Like maybe you can change swimwear in the cabins or whatever. Because they did say there will be a park official that will come and tell you when your time is almost up, because the last time I went to the park, it said the park closes at 7. So I guess 5 o'clock is a good time for them to say wrap it up, in the area, throw your trash in the trash bins and stuff like that. So it was kind of where you still can rent out the cabins. I'm quite sure back then it was much cheaper. They're $65. That's, I think, $10 less than what I encountered at Olita River, because Olita River is I believe Olita River is 55. Oh, by the way, this is a city park. I kind of thought this was a county park, but when I entered, I seen a sign that basically said like this is a city park. So basically this is City of Miami Park. Remember when I mentioned in my earlier shows, and I've mentioned in several of these shows, that all state parks are historical. You have a percentage of county parks that are historical and very little city parks that are historical. And this is one of the very little city parks that are historical, because this is a city park. I actually thought this was a county park, but this is actually a city park. So basically, yeah, this is a city park that's historical. You got very little city parks that are historical. And most of the parks that are historical are like mainly all state parks are historical, and then you have some city parks, some county parks that are historical, and very little city park. This says Coastal Dune. Coastal Dune. This is part of the park that we didn't visit in the last episode, because basically I was more in the park. I was more pressuring the areas that was more historical, like the carousel, the train rides, the cabins, and the main areas of the park. This is like the off areas of the park that probably takes you into the water area. And we're gonna go further down into the area, basically. There's a lot more people here than there was last time I visited, because last time I visited, it wasn't that many people. It was, during the weekday, and I know a lot of people during the weekday they're at work, or you don't have many. This says no personal watercrafts, meaning no jet skis or boats and stuff like that. Okay, see this bridge? This is the bridge that I'm talking about. That is the bridge that connects you to the second part of Key Biscayne. Because the first part of Key Biscayne, you have, there goes a bus right there there's one bus that goes in and out. The second part of Key Biscayne is basically Bill Bags at the end. Of course, you have Crandon Park. The first part of Key Biscayne, you have Mass Academy, which is basically a private school for kids. You have the historical Rusty Pelican, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. If you've ever been to the Rusty Pelican on Key Biscayne, it's opened up in the early 70s, so it's celebrating one of its historical. It's been here for over 50 years. And of course, the Miami Sea Aquarium and historical Virginia Key Beach. And the second half, that's the first. Okay, the first half is the Rusty Pelican, Master Academy, the University of Miami Science and Marine buildings, where they have like buildings over here that for basically people who are studying science and marine and biology and stuff like that. They have a building over here, University of Miami. Also, the Miami Marine Stadium. There's a Marine Stadium, historical. This is a historical spot. It's a stadium that's designated for like boat shows and stuff like that. It's also housed on this end of the park, and then you have several like boat shops and maybe restaurants, or maybe there's really no apartments or anything on this side. Basically, I believe all the apartments or buildings or whatever, condominiums or whatever, will be on the other side of, which is on the second side of Key Biscayne, which is where Crandon Park and also Bill Bags Cape Florida State Park. Now, in the future, we will do an episode of Crandon Park, but I did give you a history behind Crandon Park, which is that was the first park, that was the first zoo. The first zoo was there at Crandon Park, and then eventually they moved the zoo to its present location, where it's at now in the southwest part of Miami-Dade. But the zoo was housed there at Crandon Park with a few animals and stuff like that. This had to be in the early 1900s and so. But you have that, and given the time frame, as I said, I was supposed to be a part of visiting Key Biscayne, but given the time framing of my visit, I couldn't continue. This is another, maybe a tiki hut picnic table. I'm going to sit here for a second. I'm going to get out my water because it's kind of hot. One thing I can tell you that you should do as a person, if you decide to come out to one of these parks, what I discovered, and I discovered this on my own, I'm quite sure a lot of you have discovered, put your water in a freezer and make sure it gets completely cold. Now, it don't have to be ice cold, but completely cold. And then what you do is, as you see here, you put your water in a Ziploc bag and you release, make sure there's no air inside the bag. Take all the air out of the bag. And then, because the last time when I did the episode here, I had one in here and I had one on me. The one on me was basically, it was damn near hot by the time I got to Bill Bags. It was basically hot by the time I got to Bill Bags. By the time I left Bill Bags and was on my way here and I was drinking the water, my second water, I got it and it was like still cold. No, I was at the bus stop waiting, because I took the public transportation there, and I was at the bus stop waiting on the bus, and I actually had, because there's sometimes where you take the public transportation and you be like, wow, it's better to take public because you enjoy more scenic route. So I had it, and when I was waiting on the bus, I said, let me go check out my other water. And my other water was actually cold. It wasn't as cold as it was when I first put it in the bag, but it was cold enough to say, I can drink this water. So basically, that's what you do. Put it in the Ziploc bag, close it up, put it in your backpack. If you're going by yourself, but if you're going as a group, I know you have a cooler and everything, so, the steep tips off. Or if you do have a actual bottle that keeps because now they make bottles that keep your drinks cold for a certain amount of hours, like 5-6 hours or so. You keeps your bottles, or you have a bottle that keeps your bottles, your beverage cool. That's even better. Okay, hold on, let me drink 1 second. Oh wow. So, okay. So, we're almost near the end of our show. So, I just want to give you an understanding of why I was doing this episode today, which was I did a little bit more research on Virginia Key Beach as I left and went home, and I wanted to know more about what was about the park. They do have as you saw in the previous videos, you saw basically you saw a like overall view of mainly the main part of the park in the last episodes. I just wanted to do this part as reference to there was carousel rides and train rides on the weekend. So apparently that's not the case unless you have to request the train rides, because apparently it says that from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the weekends they do offer train rides free of charge, meaning that you don't have to pay, which is a good thing. I mean, basically you are paying, because if you pay for your car to get in to park your car here, if you're driving, it's basically you are paying for the train rides. But so basically that's it. But you're basically there at this fault unless they're only open on certain weekends, because apparently it says on the weekends. So because there's a lot of pictures. Most of them are historical pictures. There's only one picture of the train ride that's recent, and then there's only one picture of the carousel ride that's recent. And the picture that I've seen of the recent carousel rides basically looks like a model that's taking a picture in front of the carousel, and it's like a small picture. It's not like you can see the whole carousel. You can see like one part of the carousel. So basically that's what it is. Once this show finished, I will probably take a walk through some of the parts of the park that I didn't get to see, like some of the trails and stuff like that. I may walk through the park, because if I haven't told you, I did tell you in the last episode, there is a plan that's supposed to be approved where they're supposed to have it where it's supposed to be 100 mini homes that's supposed to be built here for the homeless people here on Virginia Key Beach. But it's on the part of the land that's not being used by park goers, so I'm guessing it's either on the further you go up the park, that's probably an area where they're going to be used, where they're going to be housing the 100. It's supposed to be 50 to 100 mini homes for the homeless people. I did say that in the last episode. But I'm going to probably walk through the areas of the park that I didn't get to go to, like the little but I'm not going to go far because I'm wearing shorts, and I don't like to go through nature trails without pants on and stuff, because some of these trails may have poison ivy, or they may have plants that are poisonous to you, and I don't want to touch nothing and get sick. So I try to be cautious but you don't want to come out here with long pants, because it does get hot, and it is hot out here, even though that there are dark clouds, and it is kind of windy out here, and it rained like earlier today. It rained. So that basically gave okay for it to be cooler than it normally is, because it was like maybe 70. It was close to 90 degrees yesterday. So like now it's like, so I don't want to be, in areas and it gets too hot, even though I got 2 bottles of water. But yeah, so I'm going to be exploring some of the parts of the park/beach that I didn't get to visit. And of course I'm gonna give you a Key Biscayne update, within the next week or two. I'm gonna do a Key Biscayne update to let you know the overall of Key Biscayne, because it won't be here. It'll probably be back at where I normally do it, at my place, residency, where I normally do my shows, and I might just do it there, and to give you because I'm gonna give you an overall information of Key Biscayne, the overall information from the bridge to the parks, the historical sites, the attractions and everything. I'm going to give you an overall of it. It's just I'm going to do it there. Don't forget to click and subscribe if you're not a subscriber to our channel. Don't forget to also like this page or like this episode. If you don't, not saying that if you have any questions or comments, you can also comment at the bottom of this page. If you have any historical stories or information you would like to share with us about this park, you can also share it with us. We also have an email, roundtable00@yahoo.com. I would love to hear from somebody who visited this park back in when it was open back in the early. I'm gonna ask my mom, because my mom, I want to ask her, has she ever visited this park, which I'm quite sure she haven't, you know, because this was one of the, I'm quite sure this was the only park in Miami that colors can go to, and it made it more interesting. That's why I say they, in the last episode, they say, that's why I say they probably built the carousel and the train rides, because back then, you know, a lot of African Americans couldn't go to maybe theme parks and like carnivals and fairs and stuff like that. So it was impossible. And there were a lot of places that a lot of, you know, people like us African Americans couldn't visit. Like if they had like a little game room, or they had like a little fun center and they couldn't go to, or they had somewhere where, you know, like these places that and the beaches that people couldn't go to. So they made it accessible by building a carousel and a train ride, which were probably back then it cost you a dime or a nickel to ride the train, and probably the same for the carousel. And you know, they gave it where, you know, you enjoy, and they say you enjoyed like corn dogs and like little snacks and stuff at the concession stand. They have a lot of pictures online. If you visit Virginia Key Beach Park website, you can see a lot of those pictures of historical. I visited, and a lot of the pictures are very historical, and I enjoyed watching all of the pictures and stuff like that, and I enjoyed looking at all the facts and everything. They didn't give much information on the park, but they just have like the videos probably give you more historical information on the park, but I didn't look at all the videos. So basically that's what it is. So if you ever in Miami and you want to visit one of the historical places, this is one of the places. I see there's a bee that's sitting under this gazebo, whatever you want to call this. So I'm gonna move to another location. But if you want to see something historical, if you want to know more historical information on historical Miami or history Miami, you can visit history Miami, but this also you can visit Virginia Key Beach, which is one of his if you want to know about African American history, this is one of the places you will want to visit, because this too has historical information on, you know, African American history in Miami. This is the Roundtable Talk. I am so grateful and thankful for y'all watching this video. Every one I go to has a bee on it, so I'm trying to get to one that doesn't have a bee on it. I'm trying to get out of the sun. All of these have bees. Anyway, okay, I'm just gonna say do my stuff and get on. But thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Roundtable00yahoo.com. This is the Roundtable Talk. I love y'all. Don't forget to check out my previous episodes of Key Biscayne, which is the first installment of Virginia Key Beach and also Bill Bass Cape Florida State Park. Roundtable Talk. I love y'all. I'll see y'all on the next episode. I'm out.